Man. We're hitting a new trend with this new way of interacting. I'll tell you that right now. What's going on? It's your boy Ryan here. Good morning to you all. Okay, so the topic of the day, it looks like it's going to be PlayStation, but I'm going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to do both PlayStation and Microsoft because I kind of already talked about the future of PlayStation with my last video where I was talking about PS5. But don't worry, I'm going to recap a little bit. But if you guys want to see that video in all its full entirety and everything I'm talking about, just skip to the end of this video. It's going to be right there on the screen. You guys can click that and watch, okay? But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this and start the video. Alrighty, welcome to the video. What is going on? It's your boy Ryan here. I am back. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to this video. Obviously, I gotta give a shout out to all the new subs. Welcome to the channel. Now, what is there to talk about? Well, I guess I'll just start with the easiest one out of the bunch. I kind of already did a video just yesterday, but you guys were awesome for it. Thank you guys for all your support on that. Now, for this one right here, I'm just going to start with Sony. Sony's the easiest one. The future is PlayStation. Very, very obvious what's going on with PlayStation. Obviously, after the restructuring of everything they had to do, especially with Sakurai pretty much coming in and cleaning the mess that was done from the former president of Sony. Sony in general has done great. They have done great. They have dug themselves out of a very, very, very steep hole. It was so bad when Sakurai took over that people were predicting Sony was going to go out of business within 1 to 2 years. It was that bad. I don't know if you guys remember, but the stock of PlayStation back when the PS4 was first releasing, it was sitting at $16.2 billion. That's all they had to go on with the stocks of the PlayStation, of the PlayStation brand and everything. Now, since the PS4 has dropped and everything has dropped and all the games have come here, Sony's stock went up over 40 billion, over 40-something billion. They're doing great, okay? They're doing great. And a lot of people were wondering, would Sony ever, buy out? Would they ever sell it off to like Nintendo and go third party? No. Sony has too much of a, just a force. They're too much of a name when it comes to gaming for them to to pack up and leave. They've done a good job, everything they've done with their console. And they've done a good job of keeping the console market in general, especially in the dying times that it is with the PC market growing exponentially. They've done a good job with keeping the consoles relevant. Now, I know a lot of people are not fans of exclusives. I understand. I'm not a big fan of exclusives, but at the end of the day, you got to understand what exclusives are. Exclusives, at the end of the day, give you the incentive to go and purchase said console, which is why I'm always on Microsoft for not having exclusives, whereas I'm so lenient towards Nintendo and Sony. Nintendo and Sony have exclusives that will sell their hardware, appeal to their audiences, and bring in potential new customers. They have exclusives that appeal to every single person. And yes, Sony also has exclusives that appeal to everybody. If you look at in terms of diversity in general, Nintendo's games in general appeal to everyone right off the bat. That's the crowd, and that's the way Nintendo operates. Most of their games just appeal to everybody. You know what I'm saying? They're mostly rated E for everybody. You know what I'm saying? They do have a few games that appeal to different people, but at the same time, most of their games appeal to everyone, which is why their game consoles and their games do sell pretty well. Minus the Wii, but we already know why the Wii didn't sell that well. We already know why. But the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation's side of things, they have games for everything. They got shooters. They got exclusives that are for shooters. They got exclusives that are horror games. They got exclusive action games, adventure games, stealth games. They got exclusive storytelling. God, there's so many games. Dark Souls, like with the Bloodborne series. I mean, it's ridiculous how many exclusives Sony's got under their radar and under their wing to push the market for sales. Now, a lot of people were suspecting that maybe Sony would go full-fledged streaming and put everything on like the PlayStation Now and push PlayStation Now hard into PC and then have that be like their bread and butter on PC and probably maximize profit for PlayStation Now. I'm telling you guys right now, everybody who's used PlayStation Now, me myself included, it's not a good service, okay? Streaming movies is not like streaming games. You got to take a lot into account when you stream games. one of the main problems you run into when you stream games is input lag and lag in general. When you have a TV, also some of your TVs you guys game on, you guys probably don't even notice. You guys probably game on 60-inch TVs and you don't even know that the milliseconds on your TV are probably like 100, 200. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know. When you add that on top of the lag in general from the actual streaming of the game to what you got, you will notice that there is a main problem there, and that's something that just is very, very common on PlayStation Now. Am I a fan of PlayStation Now? Again, no. I think it was a good, attempt at something new and very refreshing, but it wasn't really something that I saw for the foreseeable future. You see, PlayStation has a lot more to offer than just streaming, and yes, they could have gone with other things. They could have taken a few notes from Nintendo this gen, really, and people wouldn't complain because people would have bought what they would have brought out. We talk about this all the time, that if Sony would have dropped a PS2 mini or a PS1 mini, people would go crazy and buy those consoles. I absolutely believe they would if Sony was to do that. Now, the thing is, would Sony do that in the long run? It's up to, it will be up to them at the end of the day. This whole crossplay thing, I'm pretty sure they're looking into crossplay because, a person got beaten by an Xbox dude. Xbox dudes blew it out of proportion. But, I'm pretty sure they were considering it. But as far as other things are concerned, like, the future, it's like the future for PlayStation is so easy to predict at this point. They got the games, they got the software, they got the trust of the consumer back. Like, everybody knows when you buy a PlayStation, a console, and this coming day, and pretty much every console from that point on, you always notice one thing. Sony always starts off slow when it comes with exclusive. They start off very slow, right? And then they start picking up a little bit of steam here and there. And then once they start getting that rhythm, it's like back to back to back to back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? And there was so many exclusives to the point where you're like, oh my God. You have what me and King Thrash call gamer fatigue. Yes, me and King Thrash have gamer fatigue. I kid you guys not. That's why I haven't really been gaming that much. I have gamer fatigue. I have been burnt out. There's so many games on PlayStation. It's unreal. Okay, when you factor that in, right? What I just said, and the fact that Sony was, projected to go out of business within 2 to 3 years, and they're able to pump out that type of exclusives and that type of content in this short time and this span of a console gen, that right there should tell you PlayStation is one of the best places to play. I'm not going to say it's the all-time best place to play. No, because it's all about preference. You can like Nintendo or you might like Xbox in the long run. But in overall terms of just diversity, yes, Sony is definitely the best place to play in terms of diversity. Keyword, diversity. There's so many games that appeal to different people. There's always something for somebody else. That's one thing I loved about Sony and admired. They never left out a certain group of people for anything. You know what I'm saying? They never went, oh, let's just push shooter games. Let's push a little bit of zombie games. Okay, let's push more shooters. Okay, let's merge this shooter with a TV show. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go that route. They just went, okay, let's got the shooters, we got the action, we got the adventures, we got the puzzles, we got this, that, and third. They got every single thing, and that is why PlayStation has done so well. Nintendo, I'm very proud of Nintendo. Nintendo has done a great job. Nintendo has understood that you can't rely just on your first party, and that is very true. You need third-party support at the end of the day to fill in the gaps for the wait time. Basically, third-party games have always done this, and everybody with common knowledge knows this. Everybody with common gaming knowledge knows this. Whenever we wait for exclusives, what is the main thing we're playing when we're waiting for the heavy hit exclusives? Hell, what is the main thing we're playing right now when we're waiting for God of War, Spider-Man, Days Gone, everything else? We're playing third-party games, Battlefield, Call of Duty, whatever. We're playing those. That's what third-party games are for. They're to fill in the gaps in terms of the wait time for the heavy exclusives. And then when the heavy exclusives come, we have that to play and take advantage of our system to the full power. You know your console is being pushed to its full potential when you hear your turbines in your console pushing up. You know what I'm saying? When you hear those fans, not turbines, but when you hear your fans, revving up higher than they've ever done on your console compared to something like, I don't know, Call of Duty or Battlefield. You know your fans, when your fans are like kicking up that much, that means your console's being pushed to a brink right there by the game. So that's something you guys need to take in consideration with first party. So I said first party is very important. Now, I think that pretty much covers up for PlayStation. PlayStation's really, their future's looking pretty bright. I don't see them selling off anything. I don't see them getting out of the market. I see them pretty much on track to do what they do in the long run, and that's provide the games, provide the experience, provide the just the level of a standard in terms of quality exclusives. I see them continuing to do that. I see them definitely doing that. Now, as far as, the PlayStation 5 is concerned, and in terms of like pushing the boundaries ahead of the PS4 Pro, Mark Cerny is looking so like you look at Mark Cerny in these interviews, he looks so methodical, like the way he's talking about performance and the way he's talking about things going up in the future. I guarantee you the PS5 is going to be at least over 10 teraflops. Absolutely. Over 10 teraflops. I guarantee he's going to look into a Ryzen, because that's one of the main CPUs he's probably got his eyes on. Like, man, we could do wonders with a Ryzen CPU. Guarantee you a Ryzen CPU or a CPU of a caliber that's up there with Ryzen, that's less expensive, is going to be in the PS5, as well as a GPU that's on par with the Xbox One X, if not better than the Xbox One X. But the PS5 is in good hands. Mark Cerny knows what he's doing. He knows how to make a console. He knows how to make a platform that people will buy and invest into. So I'm not worried about PlayStation 5 at all. PlayStation 5 is pretty much golden at this point. So, and at the end of the day, let's say they messed up, right? Let's say PlayStation 5 did kind of mess up and they didn't have the crazy power advantage. PlayStation has one thing that the competition does not have, and that's one of their main competitions doesn't have, and that's games. And I'm about to get into that right now. Nintendo is going to always be Nintendo. They're going to always find some new innovative way to involve the player. That's one thing Nintendo is very prideful of, is putting innovative ways and taking big risks in terms of like gimmicks and things like that to push their games in a different market. That's what they're trying to do. What they've done with the Switch is actually brilliant. It's a lot better than it's basically the Wii U but revision and done in a better way. Basically, Satoru Iwata would be proud to summarize that very well. But let's go into the Xbox side, okay? So for the Xbox side, Xbox is pretty self-explanatory. Will they be around for a long time? I will hope so, because competition is good. Yes, competition is good. We need Xbox, we need PlayStation, we need Nintendo. We don't want any company to have the monopoly. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard for me to say that when they're not really doing anything to be competition in the long run. Hopefully that makes sense. You see, Microsoft, I understand what they're doing. I really do see what they're trying to do, and I understand what Phil Spencer's trying to do. A lot of people are hyping up his promotion from being the head of Xbox to the head of software. Hate to break it to you guys, man, but he went from the head of Xbox to something else, to the head of something else, and part of a higher ups. He's no longer in the Xbox division. He is beyond the Xbox division. What do you think that implies? What do you think that implies? That doesn't guarantee you any exclusive for the Xbox brand. No, that doesn't guarantee you anything. I guarantee you're still gonna get the same 3 games that you're pretty much getting hyped up for now. You guys are hyping up Forza. Forza's a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong. It looks beautiful. I like the new graphics for the Xbox One X. Let me repeat that. I like the new improvements for Forza on the Xbox One X. I think it looks good. The problem is, it's the same franchise. It's the same thing. Why not give me something new? I would love to see something new from Microsoft. Imagine if Microsoft signed a deal with Marvel and they came out with an Ant-Man game with the One X with those type of graphics, right? And they were able to use an engine similar to Sony's with Spider-Man, and they're able to turn mini and do crazy stuff in the background. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? That's something I'm talking about. We need something new. That's what you need to bring in potential buyers. You need something new. You cannot rely on the same games. You can't rely on the same formula. One thing Microsoft does right that Nintendo didn't do right for years, really, but they're starting to get it. But one thing Microsoft has always done that Nintendo failed to do at that time was get third-party support. And third-party support did well. But here's the crazy thing. If I remember correctly, they didn't rely on third-party support that heavily at the start of the Xbox 360. No, they were bringing out games after games after games. Remember, they had the exclusive King Kong game, which was a demo, looked good. They had Gears, they had Halo, they had everything. They had Forza. Alan Wake, Connectimals, I mean, good God, there was so many games. And they branched out to even more stuff to get you, more of a content out there. They were hyping up HBO Go, which was good on the console. They were hyping up everything else. So it's like, Microsoft was doing it right with the 360, but you look at everything now, it's like everything that matters has become shifted, right? Everything has been shafted, really, not shifted, but shafted for PC. Now, PC, I understand why they're going to PC. Again, it's a bigger market, more potential buyers, and let's be real here. Most of the fanboys you see on the internet that are like talking trash, they're attacking smaller YouTube channels, they're sending racist threats, they're screaming death threats, trolling, and then they get mad when you block them and you don't pay them no mind. Most of these dudes on the internet, right, that you see on the internet, can't even deny this simple fact that they haven't played anything in the months. They haven't played a single thing. And then ironically, when they try to reply to you and try to be smart, guess what they list? They list a bunch of third-party games. It's like, well, duh, of course you played third-party games, but the thing is, you didn't play any first-party games for the past 3 years, it feels like. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. You need games. You cannot rely on third-party support. You can't. It's not all about third-party support. Third-party support is cool. Third-party support is basically the cake, but you need the icing on the cake. You need the icing on the cake that makes your console stick out more than the other ones. Notice how when you go to a bakery, you see different colors, you see different type of things in terms of a bakery. You see different types of toppings that might entice somebody to go, you know what, I want that one over that one. That's what exclusives do. When you see Sony with all these crazy games, Sony's basically got the sprinkles, they got they got everything. They got all the icing, they got everything. Microsoft is basically a plain cupcake. Nothing. There's nothing on top. Maybe I'll throw in a few sprinkles on top. You know what I'm saying? Those little dough cupcakes with the little sprinkles on top. That's basically what Microsoft's got. The last good game I've been hearing about for the Xbox as of late is Cuphead, and that's not even exclusive. That's on PC. You don't need a Xbox One to play that console. You don't need, or to play that game. You don't need it. And before people don't understand what that is, where I'm coming from with that, when I say you don't have exclusives, okay, and I say they're on PC, which is on my platform. I don't know if you guys can hear my PC in the background, but that's my PC. I have a big PC. But I can play all these games on my PC, on this beast rig. I can play it on this beast rig, okay? This channel is fueled by a beast computer. I promise you. My PC can outperform the Xbox One X. It can do that. My PC is better than what Microsoft's offering me with the One X. But it could have been better deal in general, and I probably would have bought it if it had true exclusives. I would have no choice. I can't get those games anywhere else, especially a game like Cuphead. You guys really think if I couldn't play Cuphead on PC or anywhere else, do you really think I wouldn't have bought it on Xbox One? I would have bought an Xbox One for Cuphead. If, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing good things about it. The game looks great. I've been looking at gameplay of it. Game looks great. I like the style of Cuphead, but again, you need games. You need something to entice the consumer. Okay, when I see just Gears, Halo, Forza, and I see a few games that get a little bit of spotlight, but then get shafted in the long run, such as Quantum Break, which again, remember how great Quantum Break looked when we first saw it, even though we got the graphical downgrade in the final game? But you guys remember how good Quantum Break looked? We were actually hoping that that could be something big for Microsoft. And you notice how it got shafted for a TV show. You know what I'm saying? The TV show flopped, and basically the game flopped. They didn't push it no more. Mostly because, the sales, again, sales weren't that good on it, but let's be real. Why would you guys buy something that wasn't really that great to begin with? So I agree with the sales, but again, most of these people who, on the internet don't really, they just hype up anything, so it is what it is, but the sales weren't that good. Then you guys had a game from the very company that's making us the Spider-Man game for PlayStation. You guys had Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive had the potential to be pretty much Microsoft's Crash Bandicoot in a way. Well, actually, no. That's pushing a little too hard. That's pushing out a little too far. Actually, no. Sunset Overdrive had the potential to be like your infamous series in a way. That's what it had. That's a better example. It had the potential to be an infamous game for Microsoft. Good game, great combat, great mechanics, and it was actually a hell of a lot of fun on Xbox. I'm not gonna lie, that game was fun. But again, do we have a sequel for that? Are we getting a sequel for that? No, it's shafted. It's done. We're done with that. They pissed off Insomniac. Insomniac went right back home to Sony. And look at Insomniac now. They're happier than I've ever seen them. They're working with Marvel on a Spider-Man game, a game they've always wanted to work on. And that's another thing that affects Microsoft too, is the fact that they don't give creative freedom to their studios. When you don't give creative freedom to your studios, you tend to aggravate them and they leave. Look at Bungie with the Destiny. Destiny should be exclusive to Xbox. That's not exclusive. That is on every single platform, and Bungie is having fun and enjoying themselves. Sure, you guys can argue Bungie, Destiny's not great or whatever. I'm not a big fan of Destiny, so hey, I'm with you on that. I'm not sold on Destiny, but I will admit that Destiny should be exclusive to Xbox. But unfortunately, it's not, because Destiny was officially, Microsoft screwed that up. It could have been exclusive to Microsoft, but it's not. They messed that up. They messed that opportunity up. Another thing, it's just, I don't understand how you do this, but if you factor everything that I'm saying, every single thing I'm saying, right? The future of Xbox is not great at all. It's not great. If they continue with this route, I promise you, Microsoft will become a Steam-like service. They will become a Steam-like service where Windows 10 will probably get rebranded from the Windows Store into the Microsoft Store, like they're doing for the Xbox, and they'll sell all their software through the internet, like Steam, or they'll partner with Steam and have their games on Steam, and they'll receive 50-50 cuts from each game being sold on Steam. That's something they want to do. Hence why they're pushing controllers and controller combinations and controller designs over that as well, over real games as well. They're pushing all of that because they want PC gamers to buy what they call the best gamepad, which is the Xbox, controller. Honestly, I prefer the 360 controller over the Xbox One controller, but you know what I'm saying. They want to push those controllers in terms of customization for PC, for people to buy on PC, and they want to do that. They want to become a streaming-like service, or not streaming, but they want to become a Steam-like service where gamers on PC and Xbox can play together and do all that, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, that kind of defeats the purpose of an Xbox. If all your games are on another platform at higher performance, higher frame rates, higher fidelities, then you go home after you come home from work, right? You come home from work and you see a commercial on your TV saying, "Oh, this is the world's most powerful console," but then you go and look at your PC and you be like, "My PC can run this same exact game at 4K, 120 frames per second." You really think you're going to go buy that console for it? No, you're not. It's all, at the end of the day, it's called incentive to buy, okay? It's called incentive. When you don't have an incentive to buy something, when you don't have a justification that justifies your price, when you don't have any single thing that tells the consumer to go, you know what, this thing is worth an extra $500, you're not going to get no sales out of that. Now, the people who are going to buy the Xbox One X, obviously, are the people who bought Halo and everything, all that. People who bought basically the people who bought the Xbox One S and everything day one are going to buy the Xbox One X. That's just a common point right there. And this console's probably going to sell 1 million, maybe 2 million when it releases. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. But at the end of the day, man, it's called longevity also. How long will it last? You think the casuals are going to bite the hook? No. Nope. Don't let these uninformed 5-year-olds try to fool you. I know they get mad when I take jabs, but they take jabs at me on a constant basis, so it's like touche. So, anyway. But don't let the uninformed 5-year-olds fool you, okay? Do not let them fool you. Don't let the trolls fool you. Do not. When people try to say this all about power has never determined the winner. It has never determined the winner. What has determined the winner in the long run is the games and the content and what that console provides the consumer in the long run and the foreseeable future. That's what determines the winner. You can have power all you want. You can have all the power in the world. This thing can have a GTX 1070 in it with a Ryzen CPU, right? This console could have all that, and it'd be $500. You guys really think, right? Do you guys really think it's going to do anything for you if you don't have any games to take advantage of it? No, it's not. You have nothing. So what's the point? What's the point of investing into it? Exactly. Nothing. Nothing. Not even the tech in this console is anything to be hyped for. Nothing. You look at Rise of the Tomb Raider and everything. Rise of the Tomb Raider looks beautiful on the One X, but at the end of the day, Rise of the Tomb Raider, it has a checkerboard rendering mode, which a lot of you Xbox fanboys are saying it's fake 4K. Remember, you guys are calling it folk 4K or fake 4K or whatever you guys are calling it. You calling it fake 4K. It was checkerboard rendered on the Xbox One X. They had a checkerboard render mode, which is called enrich mode. Yeah, checkerboard render mode. And ironically, on the enrich mode, for aka checkerboard rendered mode, which the game runs at dynamic 4K 30, the game ran at a perfect 60 frames per second. Whereas in the true 4K mode, the thing that they're hyping up the most, it ran terribly in terms of performance. You look at the 1080p mode, the game ran flawless as well until like the end. It dropped, suffered from some drops. But again, that's what I'm saying. You don't have, it doesn't, the One X doesn't offer a justification that's worth the price tag. It doesn't offer it. And as far as the future of Xbox, again, I don't see that much coming for it. That's it. That's pretty much it. I rambled pretty much long enough. I think somebody asked me a question about PS5, saying that they came out with two models. They came out with two models of the PS5. He's saying like they came out with a $600 model, kind of like they did with the PS3, with the 20 gig and the 60 gig. You guys remember that? I think it was like a $500 model and a $600 model. I do not think that will work at all, because that's kind of pushing the realms of the Xbox One X. Now, sure, Sony has the exclusives to justify it, but at the end of the day, it will be a new launch console. And for a new launch console, the price of that console probably will be a little way ahead of what people would actually spend on. So I don't think that would be smart. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to all new subs. And that's it. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.